Hey everybody, this is Cody Knight 22 here. Welcome to Cody Talks Fanfiction, episode number 19. And of course, like is tradition, episode 19 is going to be the interview episode. And today I have on a very special guest, the creator of RWBYQuest, Questmun, for our intensive purposes. Say hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me today.
No problem. Thank you for actually saying yes.
Well, someone had to do it. I mean.
Yeah, somebody did. So this is obviously, this is going to be the first time that I have on somebody who is not only a writer, but is also an illustrator besides this, and is known for doing work apart from writing. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Also, before going in, of course, I have 20 questions that I have because I had to cut down on some of them. Given the fact that I will say this ahead of time, you don't read much fan fiction, do you?
No, I really don't. I don't actually read any fan fiction generally.
So yeah, I had to cut down on the amount of questions that I had, because some of them were only applicable to fan fiction. So I'm like, okay, gotta get rid of those. So
yeah.
But let's start off with the first question, and it is very standard. How did you first discover RWBY?
Oh dear, that's a story. I heard you say everyone is red versus blue, but that's not it
season 10.
In this case. Because the thing that happened was I have a friend who tracks the werewolves tags because they're very into werewolves. And when the Red trailer came out, that thing was all over those tags because people love tagging things that aren't necessarily werewolves as werewolves. And and this friend showed us. She linked this video and they were like, "This is not werewolves. Why am I watching this?" And we all watched it and was just like, "Oh, okay, this is nice, I guess." And we just kind of forgot it existed for however long it took from there to the show came out. I just forgot. And then later on, when the show was a good number of episodes in, I was doing an art live stream, and Zextrin from Tumblr came in, and we were just talking, and she mentioned RWBY, and I was like, what is this? And and she just sat down like, okay, we have to watch this right now. So my entire live stream watched RWBY with me as far as it was out then, and then I was in it. I was with this.
Balls deep.
Yes, immediately.
That is an interesting way to discover.
Yeah, so I blame those two people a lot for getting me into this RWBY thing.
I was in the werewolves tag and these weren't fucking werewolves. But I decided to see what the rest of the show was about anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. But when I saw that in the live stream, I was like, holy shit, this is that thing that wasn't werewolves.
This is the thing that lied to me.
Yeah.
I've been deceived. Next question is, what made you decide to write/illustrate RWBY fanfiction? In the case of RWBYQuest.
Well, the obvious answer to me here is it was pretty much just a whim. I just sat down like, okay, let's go. I guess the origin was I'm a very big fan of RWBYQuest, not with a W, with a U. Which is like a quest game that was it started this whole trend pretty much, but way back in the day. And I was showing that to a friend of mine, and I was like, please please keep all your RWBYQuest jokes with a W to yourself until the end. And then I was like, I should do this. I should make this a thing. And then I did. And that's just the whole story. That's what made me decide. A stupid pun.
The best decisions in life are made up of dumb puns.
Apparently.
I
mean, it was a very good decision.
It was. I like to think though that you just like you're just like, I'll do this, and then you posted it, and like a little bit later you're just like, what have I done?
Yeah, pretty much. That's very accurate, actually. I'm still not sure what I've done, actually.
A lot of work.
A lot. Oh my god.
Who is your favorite character?
In
RWBY.
In RWBY in general?
In RWBY in general, yes. We're not really into story specific questions, but yeah, we'll.
Yeah. I would actually have to say I like a lot of the characters, but I think either Weiss or Glinda, but if I'm taking everything Quest is giving me into account, it's definitely Glinda because I love Glinda.
You refer to her as the wife on Tumblr.
She's my wife. Jokingly, of course, but she's my wife.
No, she's your actual wife.
She's my legitimate legal wife.
Didn't you have on I forgot this at the start of the video. If you have not yet gone through RWBYQuest and you're watching this interview, I'm gonna spoil the living shit out of it. So, yeah. So up to the point that we're at, this is what just happened. 109? Was it 109 or 108 just happened?
109 just came out. Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember these fucking numbers.
I don't remember either.
So at this point in time, we have confirmed Glinda unfortunately is dead, but she had on an engagement ring. Yes. And it's gone now. I'm guessing you stole it.
Yes, it's mine now.
A token of our love.
Yeah, I have to keep this to remember her by.
Never forget.
I'll never forget you, Glinda.
R.I.P. in peace.
Yes.
What is your favorite ship? Because that is very important for anybody in a fandom.
Well, my favorite ship. The thing about me is I ship pretty much everything I can get my hands on. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh shit, I ship it. It's my OTP now. So I guess I would say White Rose, actually.
Very, very classic answer.
It's very typical, but it's like the exact type of ship that I'm usually very into. You got Wise's type and Ruby's type, and I'm just like, yes, ship it forever. There we go.
And now bang.
Bang. And also the Osglin, but I have my art blog. I'm queen of Osglin. I draw it so much. I need to stop, but I can't.
Never stop. Can't stop.
These old nerds. God.
The only reason that you're against Osglin a little bit is because it interferes with your marriage.
Yeah, I can't believe that guy would steal my wife like this.
He stole my life. He stole my wife. I'm gonna have to kill him.
Yeah, pretty much. Which let's have a look at Quest. I mean, whoa.
Instead of killing him, you made him all powerful, and you killed her instead.
No. Instead of killing him, I just made him not exist from the beginning. Because
That is true. That is true. King was the. I came up and I was reading through and I saw King. I'm like, well, this is Ozpin. Like that was literally. I saw. I'm like, this is Ozpin.
Yeah, it's not. The thing about Quest is there's a lot of things that are really, really obvious all along.
Yeah. This is Ozpin, but he's in Minecraft now. I don't understand.
He's a cute little box head now.
Yeah, he's not as cute anymore.
No, he's really not, no.
You answered this a little bit already, but if there's anything more to add on to it, what stories did you draw inspiration from?
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's mainly the RWBYQuest that I mentioned earlier. And the sort of like style of it and the way the mechanics work. About the story itself, I'm not actually really sure. I think it was just like a big mix-up of every dumb, whatever, zombie AU, infection AU thing I've ever seen. I was just like, okay, let's just go infection game, apocalypse time.
Killing motherfuckers left and right. I didn't actually think about it before. This is really an infection AU, though. I didn't really think of it that way.
It really, yeah, it is.
How do you deal with negative criticism?
Negative criticism. The thing is, I haven't actually gotten it that much. I have gotten some criticism for some things, like recently I got one about the party's interaction with Ruby, because there's not a lot of the party checking on how she's doing, and it doesn't really feel like they give a shit, which isn't really a good feeling. But
that's on us, technically.
But well, no, not really. The party interacting with Ruby is on me, but Ruby with the party is on you.
Damn it.
You follow? Because all the pieces that are the party are mine, and Ruby is yours. Right? Anyway, that was actually very legitimate, and I said, yeah, I know. Really all I do with negative criticism is that if I can fix it, I go, yes, I know, I'm working on it, and I try to fix it. and if I can't fix it, all I can say is I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because with the party thing, there's not a lot of time to do that. Like, I can't really afford to use a ton of panels for that all the time, just at any moment, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm very pressed for panels with Tumblr's image limit at 10 pictures, which I could do double updates, but that's a hassle, and it's harder to read, I feel.
Nobody would mind.
Yeah, I know, but I mind. So it's kind of like, yeah. I try to usually look at it and see if there's something here that I can fix, and try to fix that. Because usually when people take the time to write a criticism, there's pretty much always a certain degree of truth in it. That there is a problem somewhere. And it might not even be the thing they're criticizing, but somewhere there is a problem that made them go, this is weird, what is happening? So, you know, it's important to really look at what they're saying and try to figure out where they're coming from. And then try to fix it.
Your story is also interesting because there was the big, you know, for anybody that's not on Tumblr, there was a big thing where people weren't tagging RWBYQuest stuff. Me.
Oh God.
And you know, that became a pretty big issue where people were requesting for stuff to get tagged. Some of the biggest, actually one of the biggest advocates that I follow, I'm not going to say their URL. I see them like reblogging RWBYQuest stuff all day. Obviously they tag it and stuff, but I saw them like putting up and they're like, hey, tag your RWBYQuest shit. And then I saw them reblog a panel and I'm like, what the fuck? I thought, but nah. So your story is interesting just because it's like you have a story that's very 50-50. People either are going to love it or they're going to hate it for what it is.
It really, yeah. I know. It's just something I've come to terms with, because I know this story isn't for everyone. And I'm okay with that. Not everyone likes the same thing. Not everyone has to like the same things, and I'm fine with that. But people should tag their fucking quest, because
what is your personal favorite part about your story?
That's a really tricky question, actually. Like about the story as or like the things it's brought me or whatever.
About the story. It can't be about, not a direct effect of it.
Okay.
But what is actually going on. So it could even be like an illustrated part. If you somehow remember like a specific, like I really enjoyed drawing panel 77 for whatever reason. Whatever the fuck happened there.
I don't know what happened there.
Do I?
I don't know either.
I couldn't even tell you like generally what happened there.
I could. Do you know, right now, Quest has 670 something pages? I have no idea what happened back then.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a lot of pages. But my favorite part about this story, I think, is it's probably something like I get to explore a lot how people respond differently to like very big traumatic things that happen to them, and I think that's one of my favorite things to explore in a story, is how people respond to things. So there's a lot of different reactions in this quest. They're not always super obvious, but they're there, and I really enjoy writing about that.
I actually picked up, this is just a brief little side note, I picked up Quest because first of all, it kept appearing on my fucking Tumblr feed. And it doesn't appear.
Can't escape.
Now that I'm following, here's the thing too. Now that I'm following you and I'm like actually invested in Quest, I literally, nobody fucking sends me. I don't see nearly as much RWBYQuest stuff as I used to. I saw RWBYQuest all the goddamn time on my Tumblr feed, and finally was like, all right. And then my sister, quote unquote sister, who's not actually my sister, but you know, whatever. Wendy was like, yeah, I'm totally gonna pick up reading this, and then I'm just I think I'm gonna finish this because I started a while ago. I'm gonna finish it now. I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck that. And and then I'm just like, wait, RWBYQuest. She's like, yeah, I see it all the time on Tumblr feed. I might as well give in. And so then I just read through it, and it was late at night, and I'm just like, I regret this so much.
Oh.
and then like, but from the start, you're right. Some things were super obvious, and one of my favorite things was just like, so when are they gonna check out Yang? Just sitting
Never.
there.
Don't worry about Yang.
Don't worry about Yang. Well, Velvet did worry about Yang, and she, like, Velvet's solution was just immediately, she's been pretty friendly so far, hasn't done anything to harm us. Fucking shank you.
Just stab her in the gut. It's fine.
Velvet is prison tough.
Velvet is tough as nails.
I'll shank a bitch.
She will. Don't fuck with Velvet. She's seen some shit. She's not afraid.
They've all seen some shit at this point.
They've all really seen some shit. But I think at this point, Velvet might have been worst off.
Yeah, isn't her entire team dead?
Yeah, they're super dead.
They're R.I.P. in peace.
Yeah, just rip and rest. There's, I think, yeah, they're really dead. She might have assisted in some mercy killing here and there. It's
like Nora and Ren. That also was terrible to read.
Horrible.
Fucking
that
wait
was horrible. I was drawing that and I was just sitting there like, oh no.
You're just sitting there. I'm like, just going minor plot rewrite. Nora is fine.
Nora is
sunshine and butterflies.
She just pops back up like, just kidding.
Lols.
Let's go eat some pancakes.
That would have been so much. That would have been so much easier to read.
Yeah, it really would. But alas.
Are you surprised by the success of your story?
Well, that one's a kind of a weird question because usually you would say yes, but I am surprised, but at the same time it was slightly expected. Like I thought of this and I was like, this is a really cool idea and I think people might like this. So I kind of expected a good response to it, but at the same time I don't think I was quite ready to really expect this degree of success that I have now. So it's like yes and no.
Yeah, it is a great idea to do something like this because it's very involved. Plus, it's on Tumblr, and let's be realistic here. Art on Tumblr is the equivalent to fluff on fanfiction.net. It's going to get pushed way the hell up there. So
they're going to eat that up.
So absolutely, like just with this, and then of course I still love like looking. I can't remember if it was you or somebody else that pointed this out, and I think you reblogged this, but it was like how far we've come, and it showed a picture from the first panel of Ruby calling out for Weiss, and then it was later on Ruby calling out for Weiss, and how much more detail you added in there. It's kind of like, well, fuck, this has a lot of attention now. That
was like the comparison between like 0.5 and like 196. I mean, it's like insane.
That was actually really great. That was
really cool. I knew it had changed and evolved, and I know like all the reasons behind that, but I didn't really realize it was to this degree. So when I put them next to each other I was like, oh shit.
It went from Metapod to Butterfree.
Let's see how far we've come. It was really great though.
Or no, Magikarp to Gyarados, that's the biggest.
Oh yeah.
That's the biggest transition. And now the fish is playing Pokemon. What do you do to get ready to write/illustrate?
Well, I guess the first step is to sit down and brace for opening the inbox, which is usually full of all sorts of weird shit. But, you know, once I can pass that step, it's not really... I don't really do anything special. I just kind of sit down like, well, it's time to work on RWBYQuest, and then I just draw for hours.
Yeah, that sounds about how I expected it to go.
Yeah, it's not really anything special. I think the biggest part of it is looking through the inputs in the inbox and choosing which ones to do. Because a lot of times they say roughly the same thing, but like the small details are different. So like there's like these tiny actions that are different. I'm just like, what do I want to prioritize here? You know?
Take the third door on the left. Take a second door on the left. Damn them.
Damn you.
What are your general thoughts on your story?
My general thoughts on my story? That's a really weird one. I would say overall I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy that I decided to do it, and I'm very proud of where it's taken me. and I really love it. I think it's, I mean, it has its problems sometimes, but I really think I really like it.
It's been fun to read along with when you pick it up and it's just kind of like a new update. I don't even think I noticed the art transition initially. I'm just like, oh, cool. The major panels have like the art difference, and then after a little bit, I'm like, huh.
Yeah, it's like at first there was only major panels that had the art shift, and now it's just art shift every update all the time.
Well, I think maybe not the last one, but one before that was back to the stick figures, and I just remember seeing them like, yes.
Yeah, they pop in sometimes. Like in 106, there were a lot of them. But it kind of also signified like a mood shift. Like we went from this very emotional thing with 3D when it was gold and everything was horrible. Everything was horrible and upsetting. Then we went straight back to the goofy stick figures, and I think that really like helped change the mood there. And you know, sometimes we just get kind of lazy.
I would, yeah. We don't blame you. Or at least I think we don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I hope you don't blame me, because we got a problem.
I was really happy though when I saw the stick figures again. I was a little bit too happy to see stick figures again. I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see them again sometimes.
What is one thing that you wish that you could change about your story looking back on it now?
One thing I wish I could change. I wish I had not been so afraid in the beginning, and I just started it really, really strong, like as strong as it is now. Because I was very, very shy in the beginning. I was scared people wouldn't like it, and I was like, eh. So I didn't really go all out with it until way, way later. So I wish the beginning was stronger than it is.
I didn't really go out with it. All I had was Weiss getting kidnapped.
Well, you know, it was. I kind of put that in there, like, yeah, this is like a hook thing, but like it doesn't look impressive at all. It doesn't.
That is true.
Look impressive, and it's not very impressive written either at the very start, and the asks are all jumbled up all over the place, and I don't know really. The thing was, I wish it looked more impressive at the start.
All right, this is one that I think that you might appreciate, and I will say this ahead of time: it will now be done to an official capacity in an official area. Let's call the show official, anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on with insert character absent in story's name here? And when will you be adding insert character from volume 2?
I'm gonna shank you.
No, this is just this is an official area. Say it right now. I know you have issues with this. Say it right now. Never have to answer it again. That's the solution.
My official answer is don't ask me that, I will stab you. But the other answer is check the character list, because there's no character that will appear that isn't on that list.
Which I believe the question marks right now is Cardinal.
Question mark? Yeah,
Port.
Team Cardinal and some professors and the people
Peach?
who are currently entities have question mark statuses.
Peach, too.
Yeah, whoever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
He's on the character list. I don't know who
He's
it
on
is.
the character. He's on the character list. He was mentioned in volume 1.
He was mentioned, which is enough for me.
They
but
said his name.
that's a very nice voice, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's I think Team Cardinal right now is the big glaring question mark, because all 4 of them have no info whatsoever. It's just question marks. We haven't heard anything about them.
I didn't even realize that they were in the fucking story.
No, they're here.
Until I checked the character list before doing this.
Check the character list.
I checked the character. I remember, like, I wrote this specifically so that way you could say that, and hopefully, to an official capacity, at least limit those questions maybe a little bit more now.
Yeah.
But I
appreciate that.
Also, I was gonna do viewer. I generally do viewer submitted questions. You're the only person I've done so far that I've had to censor out every single one of them, because I'm not even kidding. I think I got, of my questions, 2 of them were about characters. One of them I think was what's going on with Cardinal, and one of them was what was your inspiration for the story. I'm like, well, fuck.
Well, you know, it's not easy when these are all the questions people have.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
So one of them was introducing volume 2 characters. One of them was what inspired you to create RWBYQuest, and one of them was what's going on with Cardinal. So I had to censor out all of them.
God damn it, guys.
So And that, by the way, when I got the first, I can't remember if it was when I got the volume 2 in Cardinal, I'm like, well, I'm including in the 11th question, or no, 12th question, which was the joke one for you to say to official capacity. But yeah, I totally did not realize they were in the story.
No, they're planned. I know where they are. They're just skulking around. We haven't really seen much of them.
They're the looters. Let's be realistic here. We all know that they're just looting.
They're just wandering around like, oh.
Katrina happened. Fucking loot the cash registers.
Just fucking. They're just over there opening everyone's inventories all the time.
just walking around. They fucking turn their tails on an entity.
They're like, oh shit. Oh no.
How do you decide when actions, or which actions happen and which actions don't? Because from like all the assets, this is something I'm very curious about. Like from all of the things that you get, there must be a lot of variation, probably from like turn left ahead to orgy or something like that. I'm sure you've got. I'm sure you've gotten that before.
I've gotten all sorts of shit. You don't even know.
I don't want to. Even if reviews that I get on fanfiction.net are a small sample, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. I get so much weird shit that's just extremely useless. Like either it's weird or useless or both, and I'm like, what is this?
Delete.
Just delete. I think the main thing I do first is I delete everything that's disqualified, because I have a very strict number system that I use, and if I don't follow that, it'll just undermine all my organization and everything will fall to shit. So I have to first of all delete everything that's disqualified so I can look at the inputs without those in there, and then I just kind of look at them and I go I just gonna go through and I screen cap things I think are interesting. And in some cases, when there's like a very clear yes and no decision, like there's two very clear examples of this to me, is when we were choosing whether to go to the office or the classrooms, and when we were choosing whether to let 3D continue existing or not, which sounds very harsh, but you know, that was what we were deciding. And in those cases like that, I wait a bit, and then I count everyone, and I tally all the votes accurately in a document and keep track of them, and then I count the votes and go with that, the majority there. Which is sometimes very nerve-wracking, because you guys, I don't always have a clear reading of you guys. Like with the 3D thing, first we were like, yeah, we're gonna delete her, and then suddenly keeping her was leading, and then it changed again, and I'm just like, guys, come on, keep me on my toes.
I like the idea with deletion, because it makes it sound like we were gonna fucking drag 3D over to a recycle bin. Empty.
Just goodbye. But yeah, it was. And sometimes I mentioned before that a lot of the time there's a very clear majority in one action, but everyone has different little actions to them. Like the details are different. So in that case, I just kind of pick what I think I can work with and what's most interesting. You know?
Makes sense.
Like I think one of the first things I wrote in this how-to on the blog is that I choose based on popularity, and sometimes which was first, and sometimes just how interesting things are. That was one of the first little things I wrote, like disclaimer. I reserve the right to pick and choose based on these criteria.
As far as you're concerned, I'm God.
Pretty much, it's me. I am God, but I'm constrained by the things you send me. But in that pool of actions, I am God. But usually there's a pretty clear like consensus on what to do.
Yeah.
So.
How many characters have been savable that we failed to save? So like I can think of like obviously, you know, when we came upon you, I think you mentioned this earlier, that Weiss wasn't savable back when.
Yeah, Weiss was not savable.
Nora, Ublek, you know, these are people that weren't savable. But like a Glinda, was she savable? Was Ren savable technically?
Let's have a look. This is a very big, just disclaimer first of all, this is a very big, like, hindsight is a bitch question, because there are ways to save these characters, but I didn't expect you to be able to at the time, so I don't, it's not like, oh yeah, you totally could have done that, it was easy. It was like, you could have if you had somehow managed to think up this plan at the time, which could have happened, but I didn't expect it to, you know?
Yeah.
So, with that said, Weiss, I mean, she's saved now, but in update number, what was it, 2? When when you found her in the hallway, she was not savable at that time.
Yeah.
You could not have stopped her from becoming WQ and being kidnapped and all that bullshit.
And losing her eyes.
Yeah, rip and rest, Weiss's eyesight. I guess what you could have done there was not almost get game overed by back rank knight, but you know. that would
have been really. When that happened, when you saw like that was gonna happen, were you just like, she has to make it through this? Like I can't.
I just kind of sat down and giggled for a bit. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe these idiots are getting game over in update 5. And then I was like, no, she has to make it through this. I can't do this to them. This is unfair if I game over them for this.
That would have been funny if you did like an alternate version of it, and it's just 2 chapters long. It's just literally like, you make the update and it's like, well, see ya.
Goodbye, I'm out. So yeah, I just kind of I did kind of shield you from that one and just let you carry on through that, because it would have been really unfair to game over you for that. Yeah. But yeah, Weiss was not savable from that.
But how many characters have been? Do you rough estimate on everybody?
Most of them. RWBYQuest was not savable. He died before the story began. Technically, Nora would have been savable.
Okay.
Jean savable. Ren, in effect of Nora being savable, would have been saved if he wasn't touched by Nora. So if you kept him away from Nora, Nora would survive. He would not get infected. But at the same time, in a big domino effect, if he was never infected, we would never gotten to see the sky much later, which would not have empowered the party to really continue going as strong as they are. So, you know, take the good with the bad, domino effects.
Jean was savable?
Yes, but I did not, absolutely not expect you to do that, because the situation with Backrank Knight was very difficult. It was a very tricky situation. With this entity sitting in this hallway, and you wanted to get in the rooms. It was guarding, because it was guarding these rooms, and you know, you could have done it, but I don't think you had the information at the time, so I didn't expect you to. But in hindsight, knowing what you know now, you could have done it, but nobody expected you to. It's I don't at all blame you for the outcome of
I don't think anybody is like, man, damn it, we really missed an opportunity there to save John. I think everybody's like, yeah,
it was like, technically, if I was playing, which I'm not, if I was playing and I knew everything, I could have saved him there, but I am not a player, and I hadn't given you all the information at the time, so I mean, in reality, it's my fault, but
I just never viewed him as savable. He was actually one of the people I almost listed off in an example of people not savable. Was Pyrrha savable?
Pyrrha was...
We found her getting ripped to fucking pieces.
Well, Pyrrha was... Pyrrha's situation was actually one of the things that was altered as it was going on. So it's kind of your fault that she's a dragon now.
Fuck.
But not in the comic itself, because it's kind of a funny thing. Just stop me if I go off on a too big tangent right now.
Got it.
Quest it's very like on a whim and a lot of improvisation from my side. So when that panel came out with TikTok, Scurry Escape, and Pyrrha, you saw Pyrrha from the back, right? And she was like standing there with TikTok, Scurry Escape, and for some reason when that panel came out, everyone interpreted that as Pyrrha being injured when she wasn't actually meant to be injured. So everyone was talking like, oh, Pyrrha's super injured, she's so hurt, and I was like, fuck it, I'll go with that. Now she's hurt.
Huh.
So on like a meta level, it's your fault, but in comics she was unsavable.
Huh.
It's kind of like a lame thing. It's like, damn it.
Interesting.
A lot of things in Quest is just me deciding to run with things like, oh, that's a nice idea, I'll just run with that, whatever. So you'll notice the panel where you first see her is when the injury is revealed, it's a part of her you can't see at all in that panel. I was like, what can I injure? That's kind of weird.
Huh.
It's kind of a disappointing thing to admit, isn't it? It's like, no, I didn't really plan for that. It just happened.
It's a disappointing thing to hear that all of us fucking took it one way.
Yeah, everyone interpreted it that way. I was
And
like,
because
well,
of that,
okay.
Pyrrha's dead.
Well, she's not dead. She doesn't exist. You can still save her.
Man, fuck that. She's dead.
No. Just get the dragon down somehow. Just get it down. It's fine.
Yeah, just ground a dragon and get a donkey to love it. Right?
It's fine. Yeah, right. Yeah, just get a donkey first of all. Step 1, get donkey.
That'll totally work.
I actually heard someone talking about shooting holes in the dragon's wings to force it to land, which is kind of brutal. That sounds really mean, you guys.
That's really mean. How the fuck would Pyrrha come out after that?
I don't know, but I mean, the dragon would land, and you would just kind of take it from there, I guess.
I mean, Weiss didn't get her eyes back.
No, but Pyrrha also doesn't have wings.
I mean, she has arms.
Well, the dragon has both arms and wings.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
So I don't actually know how that would affect Pyrrha, but I don't know.
And
that's the thing with quests, is that a lot of times if you ask me about things, I'm just like, I don't know, we'll see.
And in all honesty, we'll probably never know.
No, optimism. Be optimistic. It's
Nah,
fine.
fuck that.
Oh, jeez.
I'd rather not be optimistic about this.
It smells like pessimism to me.
How many characters do you have an entity design for? Because there's still a fair amount left, and obviously I'm including Cardinal in there. Obviously we don't know if we'll find them and they'll be an entity or not, but well, at least we don't know. You probably know, but
well, yeah, I know, but
but like, how many characters do you have an entity design for?
The thing is, I often make these entity designs and I don't actually attach them to any character, so I can just kind of pull them out whenever I need one. But I have some of them that I've designed entities for. I had Jean from the start as Backrank Knight.
Which makes sense.
That design was actually one of the first entity designs. That and WQ. Backrank Knight and WQ were the very first entities I designed for this. That was good times. WQ actually looked really different back then. It's very interesting. She didn't have any hair. But I also have entities for... Actually, I have for a lot of people that might not ever turn. Because at the start of this, I was like, okay, I have to pin down entities for everyone, but they've just kind of been removed and shifted around a lot. So I have right here on this sheet, I have all of Team Cardinal's potential entities, and Nora's that was changed later. I actually have a Blake and an early design for Yang's entity in here. I have no Ruby because I never planned for Ruby to be able to turn. But
that's game over.
That would be game over, maybe. I'm not sure. Someone pitched an idea to me about doing like a weird time skip thing where people have saved Ruby back again and she pops back into existence. Like, what did I miss? What happened? I think that could be interesting to explore. But let's try to avoid. let us avoid.
Fuck it, full on blitz charge with the Monarch.
No, just avoid. I also have some stray designs here and there, but you know. Glinda's entities were interesting because I designed the entities long before. I was like, who are these entities? They were already characters in IRC events. I was like, who are these people? Who are these fucking entities? I had no idea. So I just kind of, Glinda offices, here we go, bam, we're done.
Didn't Nora's original entity design become somebody else's? Or am I remembering that wrong? Okay.
Nora's original entity design was turn check rook, which is mentioned in King's Journal entries, which, you know, is impossible if Nora's that entity.
Yeah.
So turn check rook was repurposed for that because I was just kind of sitting there fishing things out, like, I need some designs for this fucking journal. I need some help. So I just kind of grabbed that, and then Nora was. I mean, I'm kind of glad her turning was interrupted because I don't actually have a design for that. I'm just like, it has horns and pointy ears. That's about it.
Has there been a character that you regret having to kill?
Oh man.
Better question. Has there been a character that you have not regretted having to kill?
I think I really regret having to get rid of King, actually.
Really?
I feel like it wasn't. Yeah, I feel really bad about that. And but there's not a lot of like big regret, because to me it's like, okay, this was kind of necessary to get the story where it needs to go and progress. And to finish this character arc, it had to end this way. In some cases, like with Glinda, it was like I couldn't see any other ending for this character. So I don't regret killing my wife.
Jesus.
At all.
I
do
just
not
take
regret
that audio bite and just play it out of context.
Yeah, just put that all over the internet. Just Questmun loves murdering wives.
I don't regret having to kill my wife.
Fucking
do it again.
It was okay. I'll do it again. Marry me, I'll kill you. Whoa.
You want to take half my shit in the divorce? Now you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. But I can't really think of anyone else that I regret killing other than King. Because King was like, he was going to die anyway.
Yeah, no matter what.
Because of the whole entity thing, that you have to get rid of all the entities. So he included himself in that, of course. He was like, yeah, me too. Have fun killing me. But I didn't want it to happen in this way, you know? I regret him turning into Monarch this way.
Yeah.
I wish he had been shot to death before this.
It was said. It was
is what I'm saying.
It was said from the beginning that no matter what, King was either going to get shot or turn into Monarch. Like there really was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. There really were no other options for King. I just wish he had been shot first.
Are there any entities based specifically around something else? Like the one I think of is like WQ. Like was there something very specific that inspired the design of WQ or any of the other entities?
Now that I think about it, the design of WQ was actually blatantly ripped off from myself. From back in, I was planning another quest actually many years ago. I just remembered this. You just made me remember that. And it was just this little original thing, and this was one of the designs for it. And I was like, I'll take that. I'm not going to do this project anyway, so I'll just lift this out of here and use that. So that's the basis for WQ. But I don't think any of the others. I think Backrank Knight is very inspired by the like spiritual successor to RWBYQuest, which was NamQuest. There's an enemy in that's got like a skull face and bullshit, and I was like, I like that skull face. That's my jam. I'm gonna do something like that. But I don't really think there's anything really. A lot of the time designing entities is I just kind of sit down with my art program or Sketchpad or whatever, and I just kind of oh right, just spikes. There we go. It's not really a very fun process. And King was inspired because I really like things with object heads, like TVs and boxes and shit. I was like, yeah, okay, we'll go for that.
I like to think that King was just like, you're just like sitting there playing Minecraft, like, I need an entity to. Wait a minute.
Wait a fucking minute.
Steve, you're genius.
Thanks, Notch.
What would you deem your average turnaround? Your average turnaround is for when you get all of the actions to finishing the drawings and releasing them.
I mean, it varies a lot because it depends on how lazy I'm feeling and how many pages there are,
and how many stick figures there are.
Yeah, it depends a lot on how many stick figures there are, and if we're outside by the dome, because that dome shit has so much shading and bullshit going on. I'm like, what is this?
I believe it. Stop
with the shading and lighting. I hate it. But really depends, because when I post the update, the inputs start coming in immediately. So there's usually like a few hours while I sleep and do other things, maybe a day or two between that. So then I get all the inputs in and I start looking through them and I pick ones, but I'm still checking. Even when I'm drawing, I'm still checking the inbox just in case something pops in that I'm like, oh, this is really good. I should use this. Because, you know, I want to give everyone a chance, even if they're just a tiny bit late.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance. So, it's... the time it takes to draw an update is... oh man, it makes me cringe just thinking about it. Because it's like, at the very first day of RWBYQuest, do you know how many updates I put out that day?
7?
10.
Damn it. I actually was a lot closer than I thought I would be.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a... So nowadays it's usually like 1 a day, but back then I could do 10 because the art was so simple and the inputs were easy and everything was great and good and fantastic. And it was very few inputs per update, and the pages weren't that many. But nowadays it takes so fucking long. Like sometimes I'll sit down to work at like 3, 4, 5 p.m. and often I won't be done with the update until it's 4, 5, 6 a.m. Then I'll post it and I'll go right to sleep. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's just a nightmare. Like I'm just sitting there drawing and drawing. I love drawing, but it's
time consuming.
A lot of work.
Absolutely, it's time consuming, and I'm
like
not a drawer.
I don't think a lot of people really like realize how much time and effort it takes to really put this together. Because it's like, why aren't you updating? Why didn't you update today? I was like, because it takes me so long. I just wanted to rest.
Why didn't you update today? Do you really want to die?
Do you want me to shank you in the face? I don't...
I will fucking kill you.
And or the throat. I don't know.
And or crotch.
I could go for some crotch stabbing right now.
That'll take a dude out, right out. That's the best self-defense thing that you could ever learn. Go for the balls.
I'm pretty sure it would take pretty much anyone out, because crotch is pretty sensitive no matter who you are.
Yeah. Fucking kick to the balls, you're done. I got news, it's game over.
It's game over, dude.
That's what you should do. That's what should happen with the entities. I don't understand why we haven't resorted to that tactic earlier.
Actually, there's an explanation for that.
God damn it, of course.
Do you want to hear my bullshit entity rules? Is that they don't actually have any genitals at all.
That's, well.
So I'm not sure they would be as vulnerable to anything as such.
Not unless they would really
break unless they would break their hip bones or some shit, which would be awful. Because, you know, if you kick a woman in the groin, it might break her hips. Don't do this. Don't try this at home.
I love the idea, though, of just, like, Monarch coming to get them. It's like, oh, I popped a hip. My hip is blown out.
He's like, oh, I'm too old for this.
Has to go and get a fucking hip replacement.
He has to go get Osmond's cane. He's like, oh. It's the most scary evil guy. He's got, like, hobbling around on this cane. Like, God, I hate you.
These clever bastards.
These little shits. Should have killed them when I had the chance.
So that's panel 152.
Yeah.
So now down to the final 2 questions. Unfortunately.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's been very quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been going through. Also, actually, I only had 20 questions.
It's not actually been very quick. It's been like an hour.
It's been like an hour. These typically take. I've done like 2 that are an hour and a half. Well, final editing, I've done 2 that are an hour and a half. I did 1 that was almost 2 hours technically. Jeez. Or I did 2 that were almost 2 hours, and then 1 also went along at a decent pace. The reason here being, you have the second fewest questions that I've ever had because of how many I had to cut out. Dude.
Yeah. I always feel like I should say sorry for my fans.
Yeah.
I don't get many good questions out of them either.
Yeah, you know, hey, I have questions, right?
That was a joke. I get a lot of good questions.
Yeah, you answer.
Just disclaimer. I got.
Yeah.
I get a lot of very good questions.
Mercury.
I'm going to stab you in the neck.
Good thing we live so far away from each other.
Oh, I will fly over there.
What is the question that you get asked the most?
It really goes in like waves, because sometimes I get an insurge of the same question and then it just vanishes for days and months while other questions come out. But I think I think the one I get the most is will this character appear, to be honest. Because that's been a consistent throughout the whole thing is will this character appear? And I'm like, check the character list, you fucking morons. Just read. The links are right there on the sidebar. Holy shit.
Was there a particular reason that you didn't include Torchwick or Cinder? Like Mercury and Emerald, obviously, we didn't know who they were. But like for Torchwick and Cinder, was there any one particular reason?
Well, at the time, you know, at the time, I assumed they had absolutely no reason to exist within the beacon walls.
Yeah, okay.
Looks at Cinder. But, you know,
hello,
it was
fellow kids.
First of all, hello. What's hippity hoppity? But that was like the main reason. I was like, these characters have no actual reason. I can't justify them being here. And on the second thing was, I don't need these complications. It's already complicated enough with these entity shenanigans. We don't need Cinder going around wrecking shit like at the same time.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Like unless it could be interesting if we had to like band together with Cinder because you know, common enemies. But you know, it was unnecessary complications, and I couldn't justify having them there. And I felt like we had enough people on this fucking character list anyway. So
yeah. So now, improv question. We are at 21 now.
Whoa.
What is the biggest piece of advice that you can give? And I have this phrase like I always have it phrased to aspiring authors. I don't know how the phrase. So let's just go. What's the biggest piece of advice that you can give? Because I don't have a better way of phrasing this.
For like someone looking to start a story or a quest game in particular.
Quest game, story, drawing. Yeah, let's just what's the biggest thing that you've learned from this that you can give as advice?
I think the biggest thing I've learned from Quest is that you are always better than you think. Because at the start of Quest, I was incredibly insecure. I mentioned this before, but I was so terrified. I put up this Quest style, this stick figure thing, which I love, but it's not my style. And I made this style just so I wouldn't have to draw in my regular style because I was so afraid that if I drew in my own style, people wouldn't like it because it would look terrible. And now I've learned that people love that shit. People eat that shit up. Like, every update now is my regular style, and they love it. And it's great, and it makes me feel so good. You are always better than you think you are. And if you're scared that you're not good enough, just do it anyway. Because there's really nothing... There's not much to lose. I mean... You just post something online. It's not like it costs you anything much. So it's like, just dare to try and take a risk. And don't be scared, is my advice, really.
And that is great life advice as well.
Yeah, it's pretty applicable to most things.
Yeah, so that's great. That's general advice.
It's very good advice. I was kind of surprised myself with that advice. I was like, that's really good.
Real reason I do this show, I can get people on that give better advice than me.
Well, you know.
Well, that is the end of questions. Anything else that you'd like to say that was not mentioned in this particular?
Trying to think of something. All I can think of is just, if you read RWBYQuest, you're fucking awesome, and I probably love you.
Hey.
And if you ask me about the character list, I probably hate you and want to change it. And if you're the person who keeps sending inputs to take off Glinda's dead body skirt, I'm going to murder you.
Hey.
This is not appropriate, and it's kind of creepy.
Okay.
But
I'm not
you know.
actually saying that.
No, but someone is.
What the fuck?
Someone is repeatedly sending in to take her skirt to use as bandages. It's kind of weird because you already have bandages in the medkit. We have a lot of bandages. Yeah. We don't need that. We don't. And dead corpse body fan service is kind of creepy. Let's not sexualize dead people. Like, can we avoid? But yeah, it's just thank you if you read it, and if you don't read it, that's fine too. And just you're cool guys.
And if you haven't not read it and you're just a regular viewer of the show, you should absolutely read it.
Yeah, you should give it a try. I mean, if you can stand all these spoilers we've been dropping all along.
Is there any particular person that you'd like to thank, that their links will for sure be included, because I'm not going to link everything, that their links will for sure be included in the description? Or is there like anything else about your, obviously the RWBYQuest thing, like a personal blog that you'd like to advertise for everybody as well? Like anything else?
Well, there's not really anything I would like to advertise for myself. But I do think I want to thank the person who triggered all of this, and when I told her about it, she was like, yeah, this sounds really awesome, you should do it. And basically the whole reason this quest exists is QB Rose on Tumblr. That's QB like in the Madoka thing.
Their link will be in the description if you're confused.
Yeah, it's QB Rose, and she's a very, very great friend to me, and was very supportive through the very like basic starting developments of quests. And I have a lot of friends, but I think
fucking brag
this
about
one
it.
stands out the most. Well, I mean, not a lot of friends, but I have a lot of, like, the friends I do have are very good friends.
Okay. Fucking brag about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna brag about them all I want, because these friends are fucking awesome. But, you know, and she's writing a fanfiction. She's actually writing a fanfiction that I am going to read, which is amazing. So definitely check that blog out, because she's a very great person. If you like magical girls, I mean, that's the blog for you, because holy shit, there's a lot of magical girls in there. Hey. If you like my wife, Glinda, go read her story. It's Eye of the Storm. It's about Glinda.
And automatically you're like, oh, I don't even care that you're my friend. It's about Glinda? I'm in.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was also like, oh, you're my friend. You're writing this super awesome AU fanfiction. I'm super proud to just be your friend right now.
So I guess if that's out by the time this video comes out, I might include the link in there too.
Yeah, the first chapter of Eye of the Storm is actually out.
Oh, okay. So I'll link that.
Yeah, cool. That would be really nice of you.
Otherwise, though, that is unfortunately going to conclude this video. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I would like to thank you, Questmun. Still makes me laugh.
That's me.
For agreeing to come onto the show.
I would like to thank you for asking me, because it's been really fun, and yeah, it makes me feel nice that people care enough to hear what I have to talk about.
This shouldn't be a hard edit too, and that pleases me greatly. Had some shit take forever.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I have my outro but wrong. Okay, let me think this through. So, tune in this Friday when hopefully, I had to cancel it last week, where hopefully there will be a new episode of Freaky Friday, and I believe in this part I should be going after Mongo now and fucking getting my ass kicked by him. Tune in next Wednesday when there will be Cody Talks Fanfiction coming out, which I believe, if I remember correctly, yeah, next Wednesday will be the author spotlight on an author I have yet to determine. And tune in to something else sometime later where I'm doing a thing and I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but I'm gonna tease the shit out of you guys, all 5 of you that actually watch, or what, I'd say like 50 to 100 of you that actually watch these videos. Tune in for that as well, because I'm doing a thing and I'm excited. Otherwise, I will see all of you.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Otherwise, I will see all of you the next time. Bye.